Kallick, the owner and CEO of Valley Cat. And I guess just to get started, what's the history of Valley Cat? Like, how did it come to be? Like, how did you get involved with it? And just anyone who wants to start with the history of it.
So Valley Cat started out as just a studio about almost 2 years ago now. And it's evolved, kind of the evolution of the cat went from a studio to this YouTube production kind of company where we do the live video sessions that you can find where it's a concert in your pocket in addition to, having studio clients. And then all of a sudden, Justin, one of my main guys, suggests, hey, let's start doing shows. And all of a sudden things really just blow up because we've all been musicians. We try to keep it artist friendly. And because of that reputation that we have of being good to the bands, which is kind of my product as a venue, people are playing here. And we were in a smaller kind of like office building, very, off the beaten road of town. And now we're in this great location, downtown Winchester. So that's kind of where we're at now.
And then how do you go about choosing artists that perform here? Are they all kind of like associated with the label? Do you know them personally? Like, how do you go about that stuff?
A lot of venues or promoters will book strictly based on draw and how many people they know they're going to get out there. Of course, I've got to think about that, but I try to pick a lineup based on the genre. So I'll typically find, a band that, might have played here before or I have connections with, like Rescue Dawn kind of seeded this show, which is a nice, great pop punk band, alternative rock. And then I kind of build the lineup around them with locals, and we draw a lot of bands from New Jersey, Maryland, so that's kind of where I do a lot of my booking from. But we're kind of branching out throughout the next couple months here.
And then going back to the actual label, how do you go about signing artists? Do they come to you and ask? Do you kind of look them up and just say, oh, they would be good for this label? Like, how does that process work?
The label's a small thing. It's a small family of 3 bands right now, which is Older Notes, Morning Band and Diet, and Bishops. We have bands that come and play, and particular ones might really impress me, and they might approach me or I might approach them and say, how would you like to release or record an album with Valley Cat, put it out through us? And that's kind of where it starts. And our model is a little bit different from the traditional label, which is more based around management and marketing. And obviously since we're a studio, recording from start to finish on our dime completely. And so it's and a lot of tour support, so I help you get a show in a good town and definitely make sure that you're supported on the way and get you, from A to B.
And what would you say is Valley Cat's involvement with the community of Winchester?
Winchester's a cool town. It's a really cool town. We have this cool vibe here where it's all ages and we're not influenced by the sale of food or alcohol. We have food and we have drinks, obviously, to sort of keep the night going, but the vibe is strictly about music. So we provide this environment that people can come and enjoy. You could be 16 or you could be 60 and still fit in. And so everywhere in Winchester you can hear acoustic and bluegrass and metal kind of. That's kind of the 3 things you hear here. We bring everything else.
What would you say are the goals for this venue and label for the next 10 years or so? And do you plan to expand? What exactly do you accomplish with?
We're starting to book bigger bands, and the big long-term goal is to move into a bigger location, larger square footage, eventually expand into having kind of a unique food operation in the future, strictly to keep people here longer. But the bigger goal here is to become the hub for the Shenandoah Valley. Instead of just being for Winchester, we want to be that spot where you come when you're coming from Interstate 81 or 66. There's DC and then there's Winchester. Our goal is to kind of put it on the map.
And then going with you personally, like how, or like why did you want to get involved with this? Like did you grow up with a family that was very musical? Or were you just kind of like on your own with wanting to do something like this? Like how's the family support been this thing?
Oh man, I have the coolest parents in the whole world. I had a recording rig when I was 16 that I sort of built, and it was really DIY. And it started out just as like I wanted to have a studio, and then I sort of imagined it as the studio and label just by itself doesn't work anymore, and having extras added to it like the venue and the hub is very important. But their support behind me, my family and my wife, is just unmatchable.
And going along with the last question, what advice would you give to someone wanting to do something similar to like what you've done, or maybe somebody that's just like interested in doing the music industry in general? Any advice
for a venue or a studio? Treat the bands right. You know, that's something that a lot of people miss out on, is treat them the way that they are, which is they're part of your family now that they've played here, rather than like, yes, you might have to take the bullet and eat a little bit of, you know, expenses on the show because you did that. But at the end of the day, that band liking the show and liking the experience is going to come back and they're going to tell all their friends. That's sort of what we're doing with Jersey and Maryland and North Carolina, is planting seeds with good connections. And if you're going to do a studio, YouTube. Get on YouTube. You can't just do a studio anymore. You've got to do something on the internet to get a YouTube channel going, talk about what you do, let people know you as a person. You know, we do a lot of things like this, or just goofy shots of us behind the scenes so people can know who you are. It's kind of important to me.
And then say there were no limitations, who would you like to get to perform here or on your label, if you could pick anybody?
Oh man, okay, so Jank, if you're watching, you need to play. I'd really like Jank and Tiny Moving Parts to play here, and Foxing would be cool. This is smaller, less huge, but Tankard would be nice. And then for the label, people signing, I just want to get people who are good hearts, you know, on the label. That's it.
And then any final thoughts you want to add? Any shows you want to promote coming up? Any news that hasn't been announced yet?
Well, we do shows every week, and I'd love to see everyone out there. And this is a cool place. We're a cool bunch of cats. Yeah, I'm a dad. I can make dad jokes, whatever.
Good to see you again. Oh yeah.
And we're starting to do live video sessions again now that we have our new location kind of set up for it. So keep your eye out for this.
That's it.
Cool. Thank you.
Yep. Thanks for letting me interview you. Yep. Okay.